The Wall Street Journal has just humiliated Donald Trump with a new insider story. We'd say Trump would be fuming, but at this point, we aren't sure if he can stay awake long enough to get mad anymore. Welcome to Occupy Democrats. I'm David Reddish. And if you don't understand the bit about Trump falling asleep, see our other videos here on the channel. As if Trump's falling asleep during a diplomatic meeting and trying to accept $400 million jets from foreign governments were not bad enough, he's also struggling to accomplish several of his main campaign promises. Remember this?
Said very boldly, you could end this Ukrainian-Russia war in 24 hours.
Yeah.
How?
So I know Zelensky very well because he was very honorable with the fake phone call, impeachment hoax #1. They said I made a phone call to him, and I was very threatening. I wasn't at all. I was actually very nice. I was congratulating him on a victory. But when they asked him, they said, were you threatened? He didn't even know what they were talking about. He was very honorable. He could have done grandstand and said, yeah, I felt threatened. He didn't do that. And as you know, I get along very well with Putin. I would tell Putin, got to settle. I would tell Zelensky, you got to settle. I would tell one, you're going to load up with money. I'd tell the other, you're not going to get any money. I would get a settlement in 24 hours.
Yeah, so how is that going right now, Donald? And wait until you see this latest twist. After initially blaming Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky for prolonging the war in Ukraine during a disastrous and, frankly, embarrassing Oval Office meeting, Trump's tune changed.
Are you any closer to reaching a peace agreement between Ukraine and Russia?
I hope so.
How would you characterize
I do believe we're closer with one party and maybe not as close with the other, but we'll have to see. I'd like to not say which one we're closer to, but we did do a deal for the American people that was good. We were able to get rare earth. You know, the Europeans are getting paid back. They have a loan. We didn't. Biden just gave him $350 billion. He has no idea where the money is, what happened. And at least we'll, in one form or another, get our, I don't feel so foolish. And remember this is Biden's war. This was a war that was never going to happen if I were president. This is a horrible, horrible war. And I get to see shots of soldiers through, satellite that are just so terrible. 5,000 soldiers are being, 5,000 soldiers a week on average are dying. They're not American soldiers, but I want to solve the problem. They're Russian soldiers and they're Ukrainian soldiers. And if I can save 5,000 souls, I just love doing it.
Oh, well, it turns out you can't end a war through bullying a nation, pillaging its resources, and kissing Vladimir Putin's behind. Go figure. Russian experts and scholars have warned since the beginning of the war in Ukraine that Putin is obsessed with rebuilding the Russian Empire, and he sees Ukraine as a key to that. For all their protest, however, Trump wouldn't listen. And now it's come back, not so much to bite him in the behind, as to expose his pasty, pockmarked posterior to the world. Check this out. The Wall Street Journal now reports that Trump is privately frustrated and disillusioned with the presidency, finding it much harder than his first term. He is also losing sleep over the matter, which might explain his falling asleep during meetings. Again, see our other videos for more. The same report details that Trump told a large group of donors about his frustration during a dinner at Mar-a-Lago. In addition to Trump's disillusionment over Ukraine, he also doesn't know what to do about the war in Gaza. Another situation he claimed he could resolve immediately upon winning the presidency, but one that he now sees as far more dire and complicated. On the issue of Ukraine, multiple sources both inside the administration and from Trump's donor meeting admit Russia is the problem, that Vladimir Putin wants full control of Ukraine. On the issue of Gaza, Trump now whines that Jews and Muslims in the region have been fighting for 1,000 years, and therefore it's too hard to solve the crisis. It's too hard. Who would have thought? To quote Kyle Haynes, a professor of foreign policy at Purdue University, consulted for this Wall Street Journal article, quote, if he, Trump, hadn't promised such things repeatedly throughout the campaign, it'd be wildly unfair to criticize him for failing to achieve them. But he did, unquote. So here we are. We have a president who can't accomplish his campaign promises, which, of course, is not that unusual. But I know of no other president who has literally been asleep on the job like this. Trump's love of Putin was never going to age well, but even Trump, a man not exactly known for his introspection, seems to have come around to the fact that Putin is a despot. Trump would be wiser to take a harder line on Ukraine, one more akin to, dare we say, President Biden? Tell Putin if he doesn't withdraw and declare a ceasefire, NATO will fast-track Ukraine's application to join. Do the same in Gaza, which, by the way, has anyone else noticed all those posts about genocide on social media that made Democratic voters stay home have suddenly dried up? Funny that one, right? Nobody screams genocide done. But I digress. Trump should also take a hard line with Netanyahu to force Israel to stop killing Palestinians and start rebuilding the region. It would also be useful if he helped set up a civilian, non-Hamas affiliated government and gave them a path to statehood as well. And if Trump really wants to help end both crises, if he really finds the job too hard, he could always pull a Nixon and just resign. You know what? I bet his approval rating would go through the roof if he did. This is Occupy Democrats.